318 Latino Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your podcast by 318 Latino. We're so happy today because we got great information. We got three wonderful people by me. Thank you for being here. We got Linnea Magyar and Katherine Ferguson. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for accepting the invitation to talk about the Shreveport Foundation Bar and also to talk about immigration.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's start by introducing our guest, and we start with you.
My name is Linnea. Like she said, I am married to my husband, Steven, and we have two kids, a baby. She's one. Thankfully, we've made it out of infancy stage, so we're sleeping better. And then I have a 6-year-old son who's in kindergarten.
Absolutely. I love it. I have 3 kids and I always relate to moms. So,
yeah.
Katherine.
I'm Katherine Ferguson. I'm an attorney here in the Shreveport Bossier area. And I've been an attorney for about 15, 16 years now.
Wow. I love it. And guys, this is a great information that we brought to you. Please watch the whole video. It's going to be very interesting. We got some great things to learn from these ladies. They're helping the community. They're bringing so much to it when talking about immigration and certain laws that maybe benefit from this interview. So stay with us. Linnea, let's start with you. What is the Shreveport Bar Foundation?
In a nutshell, the Bar Foundation is a nonprofit organization funded through grants, and we provide free legal assistance to the public in different ways, but basically free legal assistance, which is just amazing.
I agree. And just like I told you previously, there's so many people getting to move to Shreveport, moving into the area, don't know that this is available. So what kind of services, like what is mention some of the programs that you have?
Yes, I find I'm so thankful for this opportunity because I find a lot of people don't know about us and what we do. So first of all, we have the Pro Bono Project, and there's a few things we do under the Pro Bono Project. First of all, we have once a month, the third Monday of every month, we have an Ask a Lawyer clinic where anyone can come. It doesn't matter your income level, whether you have no income or all the income, anyone can come and get free legal assistance. So it starts at 5:30, and we match people based off of what they're coming for. Everyone comes for different reasons. So we pair them with an attorney, and they get one-on-one time with an attorney about whatever it is that they're needing information
Where
about.
does this take place?
This takes place at our office downtown, 625 Texas, right across from the coffee shop, Rhino, downtown.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, I know exactly where it is. And we're going to leave the information here, but she just said it.
Yes. In addition to that, the Pro Bono Project it's called LRVDV, so Legal Representation for Victims of Domestic Violence. We have 2 staff attorneys who represent victims who have experienced domestic violence. So that's a big deal, talking about sexual assault or mostly it involves obviously protective orders. So our staff attorneys represent victims in court for protective orders. So that's a huge program that the Pro Bono Project provides. And then in addition to that, the Pro Bono Project, this is based off your income level, so you have to apply.
And I want to stop you for a minute right
Yes.
there, because I wanted to ask you something. What about status? Do people have to have a certain status to come and get the services, the free advices and the free consultations?
At the Ask a Lawyer clinic, no.
No. Okay.
No, it's just anybody.
Okay.
Anybody can come. It starts at 5:30. I would recommend showing up earlier if you can, because we start to form lines, and you do have to wait, but it's worth it because we are doing our very best to match people with the best attorney that's there, because some attorneys, are public defenders, so they know criminal. Some people do wills and estate planning. So we want to match you with the best person. We try to be done by about 7 o'clock, 7:30. So anyone can come to that.
So be early if you're interested in
yes,
this
if you can, but we obviously try to never turn anybody away.
Wonderful. I love it. Yeah. You don't want to be having people waiting, but also you don't want people to leave without
Definitely. So, and we've got seats inside and it's good. We have a good time for sure. So yes, thank you for mentioning that. The other thing is we do take cases, civil cases, and you can apply for that. That is based off of income status. So you have to apply through Acadiana Legal Services, and then we take those cases on, the ones that we can. So that's anything from family law, to wills and successions, things of that sort.
And again, and because we're going to eventually talk with Katherine about, immigration status, they don't need to have an immigration status to be part of that.
They do with Acadiana Legal Services. Yes. Do. Yep. That's going to be a part. That's going to have to be U.S. citizens. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, this message is going to get to everybody, not just, but I just wanted to know so that certain people can relate to it, and see if this is a good program for them, or they're going to be able to get the services that they need. Right.
Wonderful. Yes. And when does that one take place?
Which one are we going to?
The one that we just talked about.
The free cases in general. Yes. That's just on a that's going to be a personal thing where you're going to get matched with an attorney.
Okay. I don't have a designated day to see people on that.
No, people apply for that. And then once we get notice that they are accepted into that program, then it's all in a system where we get alerted. And then, that's just an individual. It's kind of like you're meeting with an attorney.
One-on-one. Okay, got you. Oh, okay, I see it. It's not like something like we mentioned before that we have a special day where everybody comes. Okay,
right.
I love it. Okay.
So there's that. And we do other things, like we have a pro se library, which means if people are wanting to represent themselves in court without an attorney, they can come to our office and we have a room where they can research legal topics to get ready to represent themselves in court. And then what I'm doing and how we ended up in here in the first place is free legal education seminars. So what I do is I have 2 or 3 events a month that are free to anyone. And they're on different topics like immigration. We try to, do at least 2 of those a year. And then I do, this month I'm doing wills and successions or legal.
Oh, that will be very interesting.
Yes.
When is it?
Okay. So that is September. It's on a Saturday, September 16th. And I think it starts at 9 o'clock, and all of our events are posted on our Facebook
I'm a real
page.
estate agent, let me tell you. So we see this all the time, and I advise my clients, please get advices on how to leave a will and successions. Make sure that if anything happens to you, your wife doesn't have to go through that, kids don't have to go through that and be fighting at court trying to get what they deserve.
I know, and it's worth the $100 to however many dollars you have to pay to make it happen, because on the flip side of that, it causes conflict. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm serious. Even if you still owe your house and still paying for, you want to leave everything, situated. It's just a headache.
Yes.
So absolutely, I love that. So I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay. I'll post it on our Facebook page, Shreveport Bar Foundation Pro Bono Project.
Okay. So make sure you follow her. Make sure you, give her a like so that, you can be seeing everything that they'll be posting, and they'll be informing you of the different events that they got going on.
And we will do some more immigration events coming. I don't know when they will be, but that's where they will be posted when we do that.
Absolutely. I love it. Anything else besides those programs that you have? You mentioned 3.
That's
those
pretty
are
much the main parts.
So what is your role in all of this?
So I am the marketing and outreach coordinator for the Shreveport Bar Foundation. So I'm planning all the free legal education that we are doing, and stuff like this, just to get the word out about what we're doing. I want people to know about our Ask a Lawyer clinic. I want people to be able to take advantage of the services that we have.
And I thank you for considering coming to 318 Latino and, you know, getting your face out there and people to know you and know that y'all are here for them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people that are new in the city don't know where to get this kind of help. And some people can't afford it either.
I know.
So it's a shame that people are not getting the help that they need because they think that a lawyer can cost.
For sure.
A lot.
Yes.
So, well, I'm going to jump for a minute with Katherine since we were talking about immigration. And just tell me, Katherine, how did you meet?
I
Helping
think she
people?
contacted me about she was looking for the immigration help to help, and I don't know what interested you, but my name came up because we don't have a lot of immigration attorneys in these parts.
No, I don't recall one right at this moment in Shreveport Bossier.
Not someone who lives here. There is someone who has an office here, but she doesn't.
No, but she doesn't live here. She lives in Georgia. I know what you mean. And it's so hard to get in touch with somebody. And I'm going to tell you something. I think every business people want to see somebody, wants to be face to face and know that you're getting an answer right then, even if it's not the answer that you may want. But you know, just having somebody local makes a huge difference. So I really hope that you continue to help us like you're doing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you know, but let's start with that immigration. I mean, what are some of the cases that you have seen?
Okay, so my main, when I started doing this back in like 2015, I had been a lawyer since 2008, so it had been 7 years, and I was doing mainly divorce and custody, and I branched out because I knew someone in the community that knew that people needed help, and so he brought me into it, and he was actually a bail bondsman, and when people were getting in trouble with the criminal system, not big deals like trafficking, but DWIs mainly, or I don't know what else we did, driving under suspension,
or no driver license,
no driver's license,
which is very common.
Sure.
And so learning that process, at that time it was during the Obama administration, and it was a lot more lenient, the immigration process in the federal court system. So although it is a federal proceeding, the Department of Justice has made its own little company, kind of. So immigration doesn't follow any other law but immigration. So it's a bubble, I guess you could say. And so what happened with me is we would follow the criminal stuff in district court. They would then transfer to the immigration court. And so we don't have an immigration court here. It's either if the removal proceedings would be in Oakdale, and I always forget the name of the other one. Gina, I think. Gina.
Yes, I hear a lot of people that are being transferred over there. So yes, I'm assuming Gina. Yes.
So what had happened when I started working, once they bonded out at Gina or at Oakdale, and we began the removal process. If they remained my client, through the years, we've had hearings in Dallas and New Orleans.
Okay.
Because we don't have one here. Now, ICE is here. Immigration Customs Enforcement. That office is actually right down the street.
Downtown, yes.
Okay. And ICE keeps people, because I've been asked before, is it the same thing as removal? And it's not for people who are low threat, like a low threat. There's a specific word, but if you're not a threat to the community, you can be maintained here under non-status, illegal, but you're not being removed. You're not in removal proceedings. If you're in removal proceedings, you know, because you've been to court. So you can be assigned an A number, alien identification number, through ICE without being in removal proceedings. Hopefully the community that is listening to us understands what we're talking about. I'm only, like Miss Natalie told us when we got here today, we're focusing on the community of listeners. We're not talking about the community as a whole.
Correct. Absolutely. And this is just, remember, it's information. I mean, if you have a case and you would like to talk to her, and, you know, she can give you a very more ample, you know, what I would say, I guess, description of the case and going on, it will have to be a one-on-one, because everybody's different. And every
Absolutely.
situation is different. I think you will agree with that.
Absolutely.
So, no, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically that's what the experience I've had, and since that time, since the Obama administration was over and Trump took office, things have changed. It was a lot more strict. There have been rules. You and I spoke about the DACA program is trying to be eliminated, or it was eliminated during Trump, but I guess when Biden started, because I try keeping up with it the best I can now so during Trump administration, I quit doing it because people weren't getting a removal bond. They were getting removed, and it's pointless. If you need an immigration attorney, that is after you're on after bond.
Can you share with us what will be one of the reasons that people would not be able to bond out?
Yes.
That will be,
okay.
I think it will be very interesting to let people know. So, I mean, because also we have to do our part as Latinos, Hispanic, and I'm going to say this, we have to do our part to stay out of that situation. You know what I'm saying?
And to know what that situation is.
Correct.
Yes, absolutely. So if you have already been removed, if you have been removed before, that becomes a criminal activity. So
Okay.
a prior removal, and then you're back in the U.S. Illegally, that is criminal activity. They can hold, when I say they, I mean the government. You can be incarcerated for that for, I want to say 2 years or something, and then you're removed again. And I believe if you continue being removed and coming back illegally, it eventually becomes a serious complication, and you could get arrested and charged in federal court, and not the immigration court, federal court, and then you're in jail, in prison. A conviction of certain crimes. So criminal and related grounds, except as provided, and this is all available on the government website, USCIS. Let me see if I get the rest of it. But if you Google USCIS, that stands for United States Immigration Customs Enforcement. They have a lot of good information. I don't know if it's in Spanish, but they have it in English. So I'm sure you could change it to Spanish on your computer.
Absolutely, yes.
And on there, you can look at if you're applying to be admissible. And unfortunately, right now, the law is, in general, if you enter the country illegally, you're not admissible you can't apply for illegal status.
That brings me to another question.
Okay.
Yes, because I know we have a lot of people that come here and they just think, well, I'm going to try to put an application and see if I can get my green card. That is not that easy. Could it be under certain circumstances?
It can be under certain circumstances, and I don't mean to jump back and forth, but as far as the crimes that can be committed, and you shouldn't even apply for green card status, as well as if you are in removal proceedings, and you would be more likely to be removed, it would be criminal activity such as a felony, any type of abuse of spouse, abuse of child, or an aggravated charge, like any gun-related charge, drug activity. Now, for everybody out there who smokes a little weed and they drink a beer or two after work and then drive home, if you got a misdemeanor conviction, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be admissible. The government is very forgiving on one-time happenings. Okay. But if that happens, you need to know that that's a one-time situation. But drug dealers, for instance, people who have been known to be drug dealers, sometimes they're also involved with human trafficking. You won't be able to be stopped from being removed in those proceedings. Removal proceedings are for someone who's not a threat to the community.
Correct.
Also, what I find, if you are applying for a green card, and we'll go through the specifics of who may be able to apply, even though they've entered the country legally, you cannot benefit from a green card or a legal lawful permanent resident status. So if you're considered to be a public charge, is the language that is used in the rules for applying for green card status. What that means is you cannot show that you can be independent or able to provide for yourself and for your family, especially if you're a mother or a father here with children. You do want to show that you don't need to rely on government assistance. So just like I'm not surprised that the Acadiana Legal Services only takes U.S. citizens. And the reason for that, I guess, is some kind of policy that if you're entering illegally, you should be able to provide for yourself, and you can't rely on government assistance.
I see. I see it now. It makes total sense. I see it.
But I know that it's available too. So children who are born here are U.S. citizens right now under the law. That's correct. So once your child born to you reaches the age of 21, they can apply for you. They can apply for legal status for you. They can be a sponsor. Who also can be a sponsor if you've entered the country illegally is a parent or a spouse. If it is the spouse, you have to have been married for 3 years before you can even apply.
Start the process. Okay.
And the government will the immigration will do a search onto whether or not your marriage is legal. I have had clients who have gotten married.
Just to kind of get.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And if you do that and it works for you, that's great. But if you're out there and you're thinking that's how you're going to do it, don't even bother. You're just going to mess people's lives up.
Yes.
I did divorce in custody for a long time.
So you've seen it back and forth. Yes.
I've seen it.
Yes.
And then
so let me stop
ma'am.
you and ask you a quick question about when a child is born here, and you said at age of 21. Is there a reason why, even though your child was born here and is ready to help you get those documents in place, why the government will deny them?
Yes.
Okay. Because I see that all the time, and I think I have a family right now a friend that has a daughter who is over 21, and they haven't been able to do anything.
Because it's not likely to happen. You can apply, but it's not likely to happen.
Okay.
I would think the main thing is going to be so there's a thing called discretion. And what that means is the discretion of the court. So it depends on your circumstances in life. It depends on your family, how you raised your children. You could have done everything right and still not be picked, or you could done mostly right and get picked.
Okay.
It's a process, and there is not one person that determines the eligibility. It is an application process, and then we don't know who looks at that, who reviews the application, and make sure you go to your meetings. And you've got to do your genetic review. You have to. So if you're in the procedure, if you want to apply and you start to apply, you have a sponsor who can be the spouse or the mother or father or a child 21 years old. Once you're in that process, there's no way to know. But you shouldn't even apply under certain circumstances, like those crimes that
you just mentioned. Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's more, and so it's all on the USCIS website. And whatever questions you have, it's real easy to read. But if you just need, and it is a long process, but it's not open. There's only, so I know one of the questions you were asking me is about employment visas and whatnot. And so I haven't done those specifically, but I've looked at them, and under certain circumstances, some people get them and some people don't.
Yeah.
That's just, right?
Now, can you be here in the USA and get an employment visa? I'm sorry.
So that's a very good question. I've been asked that before, and my answer is I have not done that. What I have done is I've prepared an application for one of my clients who's in removal proceedings.
Okay.
So my fear is that if I apply for it, right now the removal proceedings has been going on for 10 years now. So if you've been, and that just taught me to think about, if you've been in the country illegally for 10 years, at that point, you're no longer deportable. Does that make sense?
So that's kind of like a forgiven period?
Yes, but you can't that doesn't mean your legal status, but it means you're not subject to removal.
Okay.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes. 10 years.
10 years with no removal. no removal.
Think about 10 years. I mean,
I know.
it goes fast though.
Yeah.
But
seems like a long time.
I know.
Yes.
I think about it. I'm like 10 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, in a way, there are consequences to every action that we don't. We don't follow the rules. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important to understand what can get us there.
Yes.
And what can avoid that situation.
Yeah.
So let's keep with the question. So, we talk about the green card. How can you obtain a green card? And you said there's 3 ways. You have seen it.
Yes. Well, no, so on the USCIS website, you may be eligible to apply if you're the spouse of a U.S. citizen. It's called immediate relative of U.S. citizen, an unmarried child under the age of 21 of a U.S. citizen. So if you're in the, I am married and my husband's in the was in the Air Force. So if he went to Jamaica for whatever reason, I know they don't go to Jamaica, but if he did, and he met the love of his life.
That's not you.
And he came back here with, the child was born there and he brought the child here. That child is here illegally, but that doesn't mean he's a U.S. citizen. So he can, I guess that's what it means. He can petition for his child citizenship. Correct. And then a parent of a U.S. citizen who is at least 21 years old.
So let me stop you there. You said that the child cannot be married.
That's what it says.
Okay, so we have to follow the rules. Okay, so it cannot be married in order for your child at 21 helping you get your status in the USA.
Unmarried child. Well, unmarried child under the age of 21, you can apply for that child. An unmarried son or daughter of a U.S. citizen, and you are 21 years of age or older. Unmarried child under the age of 21 of a lawful permanent resident. This says if there's a lawful permanent resident child, unmarried, they could also apply.
Okay.
So it's family-based preference categories.
Okay.
So basically, a child, 21, unmarried son or daughter, 21 years or older, spouse, and it doesn't say parents, fiance who has been admitted to the USA under a visa. So if you have a marriage with someone with a visa, I guess that might be one of the.
And I know a situation, you're right about that. I know a situation about a guy that is trying to get his fiance over here, and they got married. So, but she has a status. She has a permit or something. I think he said it will be much easier now because they're married, which I know every case is different, but I think that's how it works.
Absolutely, and these aren't just for. It's not just the Hispanic community. There are other communities.
Oh yes, and that's why you're here, and that's why we said at the beginning this is not just for the Hispanic community, but everybody out there that is maybe facing one of these cases.
So some other things is so those are the family ones. There's also if you've been a victim of domestic abuse or violence, if you've been the victim of human trafficking, which means prostitution. There are rules about it, how long you were in that situation. If you are medical, so there are certain things for medical professionals. There's immigrant worker. They're a first preference. So if you're an immigrant worker, you have preference over everybody else. So that might be the difference between your grandmother applying
and you, of course,
and a younger, stronger, active person, because they are deemed not to be that public. What was that word? Public charge, because they're able to provide for their family because they can work. So if your health is bad, that would be another thing. If you've got bad health and that's just what it's saying. They don't want you to be good for the community, not bad.
Absolutely.
Not drag everybody else down is what it is. So that means you have so these are for our Hispanic community as well as other communities. You have extraordinary ability in science, art, education, business, or athletics. Outstanding professor or researcher, multinational manager, executive. That's the first preference. Second preference, immigrant worker, member of profession that requires an advanced degree, have exceptional ability in the science, arts, or business, or seeking a national interest waiver. Third preference, skilled worker, meaning your job requires a minimum of 2 years training or work experience, like some labor would require special training to be able to do. I mean, these guys are amazing. Professional, meaning your job requires at least a U.S. bachelor's degree or foreign equivalent. And then an unskilled worker is not a preference. It's on the third preference, but you will perform unskilled labor requiring less than 2 years training or experience. But you can still apply. You're eligible, even though you're not top preference.
But you still could have a chance.
You have a chance.
Yes,
if
absolutely.
you're productive and you're working hard and you have a family and you provide for them, you can apply.
Okay.
And then physician.
And we see that very often here. You know, people coming from Mexico or other countries, Colombia. I know a Colombian doctor that comes, does his residency here at LSUS, and they end up, you know, receiving their status. I've seen it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with that. Yes.
No,
Yes.
I've
You just kind of
researched
read it,
it to see what the preferences are, and I was just amazed at that because we need people.
We do, yeah.
Because our community, not everybody can be a doctor.
Yeah.
So, and we need doctors.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, we need help.
I sold the house to this couple that both are doctors. They came from Mexico, and they were, like I said, they were doing a residency here at LSUS, and they're still here. And they're, I think she's a pediatrician and he's a general doctor. But yes, awesome. I know. And just like you said, it just came to my mind because that's what the community wants. Wants good citizens and something that brings something good to the community. You know,
absolutely.
just like them. Yeah. So I see the point. I see why the rules. I see why they're so specific with the requirements. But it's in a good sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Because we're bringing good to our community.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love it. So can we jump to another question, or we got some more?
Sure.
Okay. I know. Well, no. If there's anything else that because it's very interesting.
I think we covered like victim of criminal activity. Let me go over this one just real quick because I know some of the ladies have asked about. Okay, so my husband and I got in a fight. Does that count?
I was gonna ask you about that. But I was like, I don't know if I want to touch that. It'll be kind of. But no, go ahead, bring it on.
But absolutely, and I didn't know if everybody knew what a protective order was. So a protective order means that the spouse or someone, I guess we'd have to read the law, but if a spouse commits injury to you, hurts you or financially even, some of these people flee.
I heard also mentally. Could that be part of it? I heard somebody say that one time, and I don't know if it's.
I don't know.
You don't, okay.
I think it's
mental
limit.
abuse. Is that what she's asking?
I think so. Yes, she's asking mental abuse, and I think it's more along the lines of it's saved for, even though mental abuse is horrible, it is saved for the more violent crimes.
Okay.
I think. So they've got a whole list, y'all. Abduction, if you've been abducted, abusive sexual contact. So if you're a victim of the human trafficking, this kind of stuff would happen to you. Okay. Domestic violence, extortion, false imprisonment, female genital mutilation. Some countries do that, you know, and they'll bring their children here and follow those procedures. And maybe there's outreach out there, and this helps with some of that. Felonious assault, fraud, hostage, incest, involuntary servitude. That's another trafficking situation. I know probably it's very scary entering this world and not having a place to go, and then you're stuck.
Yes.
And if you can show that you were taken advantage of, you can apply.
Okay.
And maybe be protected. All right. Sexual assault, rape, prostitution. So there's like a whole bunch of stuff. Torture.
Stalking, perhaps, or harassment. No,
okay. It's not part of it. Okay.
Stalking. Yes. I'm so sorry. Yes, stalking is. Let me see. Stalking, sexual
harassment, but it does say stalking.
And look, it's in alphabetical order.
Even easier.
Thank you for pointing that out, Linnea.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
I just because of what I was thinking, I don't do any of this, but that's part of our protective order program.
And because you do that, you know what to look for.
Yeah.
So if they qualify for your services, I think it's good for us to work together as a community, because maybe then they would be a candidate. Unfortunately, they'd be a candidate.
Yes, I
It's
agree
horrible,
with you.
but-
And then you said you were familiar with DACA, Miss Natalie?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. And it's deferred action for children of immigrants or
Yes, immigrant parents that were brought over here without their consent, when they were little.
Oh,
and
yes.
I
Okay.
believe it's like you can put an application if you were here 13 years old. I don't know all the rules and the requirements for it, but yes, I've seen, because I know the Catholic charities, so I work with them, translating and helping them and sending customers over there. So that's why I get a little familiar. We have done a seminar on it, and I help them, translating and getting the people out there. So yes, absolutely.
And they've asked us about DACA as well. I've
Did
never
you do
done
any of the DACA? No, not right now.
All
Would you?
Yeah, I would do it. We'd have to look and see what the status is now, because like we were talking about earlier,
They have changed. Yes.
it has changed.
Yes.
But as we said, it might be eligible, whereas during the Trump administration, it was not. So we'd have to see, because I was considering it, but if we can't do it, there's no.
Right now, I think at this point, it's only renewing. I think you can
Renew. I think
yes,
you're right.
it's every 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. You renew, and it's a process. You have to pay to be here every 2 years. But and I wonder if at one point they're gonna make that a law, like if you have certain years and you've been a good citizen to the country, that that could help you bring your citizenship or residency.
I wonder too.
Yes.
I do wonder, because when my clients, family members, so I've met lots of people through helping other people.
Sure.
And I wonder, why do you want residency? Why do you want status? And so I'm blessed not to know that question, but I'm sure people could explain it to me. We're always just so busy trying to help that we don't get to talk about why.
Yes,
I
know. I agree with you.
All right. So victim of abuse, child victim of abuse. It's all on. You can go through this. There's terrorism, war crimes. And so you have to, in order to apply for the green card, you do have to have legal permanent residency. And the way you would have that is you already had a work visa or another kind of visa to be here, but you have to apply when it's still active.
Okay.
You have to apply when it's still active, because I have seen that. And if it's expired, let's say last year, and you never renewed it, you can't.
Then you can
apply.
Okay.
I mean, you could, and here's the thing about the government. You could apply, and maybe they'll let it by, or maybe they won't. But you should know what you're doing. So when they ask you, because it is a very personal, very intimate questions they'll ask you. So if you know, you need to tell them the truth. You need to say, "Yeah, I knew, but I said, what's the harm in trying?"
Yes.
So always be honest. If you're going through this process, that's what I've learned. You want to be honest with the court.
Honest as possible. Absolutely. I agree. I think that's what's going to get you where you need to be.
Yeah, but don't tell on yourself as well. We don't have to tell, go to confession, tell your sins. Don't tell the immigration court everything. But if the judge asks you a specific question, have you left the country? Have you not? Have you left the country before 2 years for this removal proceeding started? That doesn't work. You have to have been here and not return to Mexico. So if you're here, stay here and don't leave. That's another thing. During removal proceedings, it depends on if you've left and come back. They will ask you that.
Okay. That's a good answer. Thank you for answering that.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
What were some of the other questions?
Well, some of the other questions, you just actually mentioned one, how to get a green card, and you said you have to get to that process first and make sure you're not in the removal status or anything like that. And then what is a lawful permanent resident?
Okay, so that is, let me get to my card.
Yes.
And that is really hard to answer. I'm going to tell you that I'm not quite sure
Okay, that's
because
fine.
I never had someone qualify. So
Okay.
I do not know.
So right now you have some cases. Let's say you're helping some cases that were ready to be removed, and
they're
you
still
were
here.
they were able to stay.
Correct.
Okay, so how does that work?
But it's not over. It's a process.
I was going to ask you. Okay, I mean, are they here legal now?
No,
Okay.
they're not here legal. They're still under pending proceedings. So we just have to go back to court. We got to go to New Orleans or Dallas every few years and show the judge we haven't gotten in trouble. We haven't gotten another DWI, or we haven't gotten any domestic abuse, or, no trouble.
What happens at that point, right quick? Does do they give them a permit to be here? No, they're just here. Okay.
But they're working, and so that work visa, I'm tempted to try it because at our last meeting with Linnea at the church, some of the persons there said that they work and they're in removal proceedings, and they got, so there is a specific, I don't know if it's a visa technically, but there is a work permit.
Okay,
I'm
that
still
allows
learning.
them to kind of support their family while they're here, I guess.
To legally support their family, which is weird. It's good to know what they're looking for.
Okay.
So if you're here legally supporting yourself and your family, they'll let you do that, but they won't give you status. It's crazy.
Well, you may have to work so hard and get to the presidency and do something. Please, Catherine, we believe in you. We believe a Shreveport lady can do it.
That's right.
Well, let's just wrap it up, and we talk about the green card. We already said why it could be denied, but and people can be working in the USA with waiting on a green card. Is there anything else that you would advise our community? And like I said, we're generalizing everybody, not just the Hispanics. Like, what status should we maintain so that if anything ever comes up, we'll be the first ones to be able to apply for a residency or citizenship?
I guess word of mouth is really how we do it. Let's just keep communicating with each other and telling each other what's going on. And let's just stay open to that communication. I think that's the best way to do it. Keep asking those questions, because then it gets answers and maybe we can have solutions. But if we're not talking and we're not asking questions, we don't know there needs to be.
And
a
also
solution.
sharing our experiences, because every case is different. I go back to that. Every case is different. That's why it's so important. Are you taking new clients?
So I work full time with the Public Defender's Office. I am allowed to have private cases. I'm very particular about the cases I choose because I have such limited time.
Of course.
So
and driving to New Orleans and Dallas, I mean, it takes time, guys.
So
We need an attorney
Yes.
here who can speak Spanish
Yes.
and do immigration law.
I know.
we do.
So
if
someone's
you're out there,
listening.
Yes.
You're an attorney.
You need to call these ladies. Please.
we need it here.
Yes.
Better find
Nobody
me.
wants to do it.
And also, that's why we have you here. Thank you, Catherine.
You're
because
welcome.
you're doing what not other people want to do. And we mentioned it before. I hear a lot of people go somewhere else to find for an immigration lawyer or just an advice, just counseling, just help, asking questions and just getting some help.
So if Miss Natalie, I'll give you my contact information
Please,
too.
absolutely.
My email is evans.catherine@yahoo.com, evans.katherini@yahoo.com. I've recently married, so my name was Catherine Evans, but now it's Katherine Ferguson. But if you do email me, please email me in English, because I have received emails in Spanish, and unfortunately I've always had an interpreter available.
Yes.
So when I do private practice, I don't have the time to hire an interpreter to be in my office.
Well, I want to ask you this. There's a lot of young people out there that are just waiting for an opportunity to learn. Would you receive a volunteer Okay,
I would
guys,
love
you will
your
not
help.
get paid, but you will get knowledge,
A reward in
and
heaven.
experience, and you may not know it, but you may become the next Hispanic lawyer that we
Yes.
need.
And we can
Yes.
teach you
So-
how to do it. And once you learn how to do it, then you can get paid. But you got to start by learning. Nobody wants to pay somebody who doesn't know.
I
So
agree.
You got to learn, and then you can make the money. So just look at the big
So
picture.
just look at it as a volunteer work that you can do, and then helping the community and translating all this for her. And I mean, yeah, I will be,
Absolutely.
if I wasn't doing real estate, I would definitely give you a call, because I would love I get excited when I talk about this, because this is my community, you know, and I want to do so much, and I want to bring so much to the community. And that's why I do 318 Latino podcast, because 318 Latino is always finding ways to help our community
It's beautiful.
succeed. Oh yes, yes. We get here people like you that are, I mean, they're not getting paid, guys. They're here.
She is volunteering her time. Yes.
Yes. And this wonderful lady made this happen, and I'm so thankful. So please share this interview. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be a great interview for somebody that is needing their services that the Shreveport Bar Foundation is offering. Also, Katherine Ferguson is offering as a lawyer, as a, immigration, starting to know immigration.
Yes.
But I mean, thank you for
Thank
doing
you
that.
for
Thank you
having
for
us. You're
taking the
welcome.
time to look into it, to investigate about it, and help us out.
You are
I mean,
so
it makes
welcome.
a big difference for somebody. I think you're going to heaven.
Oh.
I think you will. Go.
we got to keep doing it.
You will. Okay, we're going to have to do a 318 Latino. Brian, I know you're out there. We had to find an assistant for her that will be able to translate. So that's going to be your job.
Yep.
Girls, thank you so much. Would you like to
you.
thank your family, friends, anybody that has been supportive to y'all? I mean, Bar Foundation. You wanna
Yeah,
say?
I was just thankful that they hired me and we have a wonderful team. Dana is our executive director. And if you don't know her, you should. And we have so many wonderful volunteers, attorneys that volunteer their time, our board. So we have a really great time. I'm thankful for my job and my
Linnea.
family,
Thank
but my
you
job.
for being here. Thank you, Linnea. Thank you, Katherine. Well, guys, we're gonna leave all the information. Please follow them on their pages, and make sure that you contact them if you need the help. I think Linnea has a great programs for you. And even if it's not for you, it may be for somebody else that you know. Thank you for being here. Your 318 Latino podcast says thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
318 Latino tiene solo tus mejores gustos. En internet desde Shreveport.